Hey, good morning, guys. This is Stephen Howard and my dog Yucca, Rio off there in the distance. And just out here at Mount Charleston enjoying the sunshine in the morning. It's very peaceful and really high vibration. You can actually hear over the cars and the jets and the birds squawking in the distance. You can hear this high frequency pitch, and you know, people that are around me have started to experience it as well. And it's not rheumatism, it's not inner ear disease, there's no problem with our heads, but it is a frequency that is very high, and it is Mother Nature, it is all around us, it is Gaia, the earth, and it is also the universal divinity. You can actually, I begin to tone into the frequency, and then all of a sudden all these miraculous miracles happen in my life. I was at the gas station the other day and I met BJ Baldwin for the second time in my life. If you haven't heard of BJ Baldwin, he's just the best trophy truck driver in the world. Watch his videos on YouTube and join his fan club on Facebook. BJ is a real inspiration to us all. He puts the pedal to the metal. He doesn't bullshit around, and he's usually doing somewhere around 120 miles an hour off-road in a trophy truck, like a bat out of hell. And first time I met BJ was when I was moving with my mom from Vegas to Tahoe, and I was during a really traumatic time in my life, and I was getting divorced, and I had stopped the robbery, and I was in a whole lot of trouble and worried about where my life was headed, and I met BJ in the Tonopah Mexican restaurant. He was, I believe, an hour and 30 minutes, or like more than that, an hour and 40 minutes ahead of the next competitor in the Min 400. And he had already showered and gotten dressed in street clothes and was already in there. And, you know, he had to later that night get back in the trophy truck and head towards Reno, and he was talking about wild animals that could be in the road. The chase vehicles have hit other vehicles or obstacles. There's a lot of things that can happen out in the desert in the middle of the night doing 120 miles an hour. So it was a real pleasure to talk to BJ. I had heard recently he was shot at, and his wife or girlfriend was shot at, and I don't know the circumstances, but I do know that it causes PTSD. So we talked a little bit about that, and people using gun violence on other people, especially somebody as a celebrity as he is. It's not very wise. I hope they caught the people, and I hope all this went in the right direction for BJ and his family. Anyway, I hope BJ watches my videos and will see this one. I've basically been through a lot. I was a motocross, inspired motocross racer, and I was just on my own. I wasn't part of a team. I didn't have any sponsors. I made enough money off of tips off the strip that I was able to grow my motorcycle. I started with a Honda CRF 450. Then I went to 250s to see how those were going, and I blew a couple of two strokes up. And then I got into a nice digital bike. I was on a WR 450F when I had my accident, and crashed at 82 miles an hour. It's on SK8 BRD Steve on YouTube if you want to check it out. I had a bunch of things happen in my life, a series of events that caused a spiritual awakening. Um, Basically, they weren't good things or wouldn't be viewed as good things. They kind of put me down to zero, or what some people would call rock bottom. And I've been slowly working and building myself back up and trying to get back on the bike or back on the climb or back on the surf. Try and get my body back in shape and, be in the shape I was back then to be able to do these things. I have some broken bones, which are a concern: a broken back, a broken neck, and broken sternum. So I have to be careful when I do things now. But I really do enjoy them, and I really want to get back onto it. Um, I believe I have an acting and modeling career, spokesperson career. I believe there's television shows and movies in my future. I believe I can do a lot of my own stunts, but at the same time, we might as well have some of the best experts in the world doing some of them. Breaking the Chain is my movie. I die in the first 4 minutes underneath the helicopter in the Mint 400. When I'm dying under the helicopter, you do a flashback, screen goes black, and you go back into my life, and I'm 12 years old, riding a dirt bike in the foothills. And you go up to my parents' house in Tahoe, and I'm rock climbing as a little kid, and up at Donner Summit. And my parents have a divorce, a big fight one night. And so I pack all my climbing gear and I head out to Yosemite Valley and become a climber. And it's kind of like Into the Wild, Pulp Fiction, and Forrest Gump all tied into one, because the kid's pretty innocent, but is kind of fed to the wolves, if you will, through his parents' divorce and getting into the hippie rock climber movement in the 80s. Didn't realize he was around superstar rock climbers and stuntmen. And then David Lee Roth came into Yosemite Valley and did the jump video and treated all the climbers really well. If you watch Valley Uprising on Netflix, that will show a lot of the history that I was a witness to. I worked at Degnan's Deli in Yosemite Valley making pizzas, and then eventually the Yosemite Mountain Shop. I did a bunch of climbing with Dave Schultz, which was Peter Croft's partner, Jim Bridwell, the late Jim Bridwell. I climbed with Warner Braun and Mary, and Ken Ariza was my mentor. I climbed with Joe Messick all through high school, and we were really psyched on it. He was such a talented climber. The late Dan Osman used to climb around, and he'd be listening to Slayer and free soloing 513 and Cave Rock and down climbing it too. Just an amazing athlete. The list goes on and on. The late Derek Hersey from England fell off Middle Cathedral the day after I was seeing him and served him a pizza. And I guess what I'm getting at is a lot of us are still alive. A lot of us are no longer here. And there's like a little flimsy wall between us all. And the gifts that are given are basically the awareness that those people exist in our lives still, and that the people that are fallen and lost or gone, or whatever you want to call it, have ascended. I think they're like the ascended masters, or they're the people that are giving you the knowledge, and they become your guides. And as you're going through life, you start to realize that you've had guides your whole life, and that people have been watching over you and protecting you, and that's why you're still alive. So I've done a lot of extreme sports: rock climbing, kayak surfing, motocross, alpine skiing and snowboarding, mountain climbing. And I just skateboarding and all the other great sports that are out there I've tried or done. And you got to realize over that many years, with that many times being protected and guided and make it through, or you break some bones or do something, that you actually are ascending levels within the sport. And what you're ready to do now is probably next level on what somebody else thinks, but because you've been doing it since your childhood, you just know it. And so I'm really hoping for some sponsorships. I'm really hoping for some tryouts. Let me borrow a dirt bike. Let's time me and put me out in the desert. And I want to race best in the desert. I want to race MRAN. Whatever it takes to come up through the ranks, I'm sure it will happen quickly. I just need equipment and sponsorship. Rock climbing, kayaking, motocross, and really get this movie going, Breaking the Chain. I have a script 3/4 written, and like Quentin Tarantino, I keep the plot twist at the end to myself. And I hope to use actors like Sam Elliott and Mickey Rourke and some others, Kiefer Sutherland, Susan Sarandon, and quite a few others. Sarah Jean Underwood is the love interest in the movie, Mary. And it's a story about soulmates, spiritual adventure, and what it really takes to go out there and bust your ass. So this video is dedicated to BJ Baldwin. I hope you're safe in the Baja 1000. I think guided messages that I have for you is, when in doubt, throttle out. Just keep going, man. Look through the lines, and you know this, and you own this. And if you know this and you own this, then there's no way you're going to falter. And give it everything you got, because you've made it to a level that we all dream about, and we really wish we could attain. So I hope you guys have a blessed day. I think I'm getting emotional because of the losses. Breaking the Chain would be dedicated to Ox Cargola and to Caselli and some of the other desert racers that have lost their life in pre-running of the Baja 1000. It's one of the most dangerous races in the world, but it is also one of the most beautiful and amazing. And I hope BJ wins this year. I really do. To be racing during COVID is hard enough. And yeah, I just hope everybody has a blessing down there and has a great race. I love you guys. One love from Mount Charleston, Stephen Howard, my dog Rio, and Yucca. Talk to you soon.